welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are the Tricks, and it's really a pleasure to be here today in person as well as with Mr. Trot. You're welcome once again to my YouTube channel. So today we are here to talk about something really important, and I feel it's going to be of help to so many couples who are in the process of a spouse visa, specifically the UK spouse visa. So we are here to share our story on our spouse visa journey, the process, the challenges that we did face, and obviously, generally, the outcome at the end of the entire process. However, the entire journey was actually most of the processing was done by my husband.
All of the processing was done by your husband. You did nothing. You couldn't get a bigger zero if you tried.
Right. He literally did everything. So I really want him to fill you in with the entire process, because he kind of handled all those legal related things. But I want to hear from him and how the entire journey did go, because I really did very little.
Nothing.
I showed up.
Okay.
So, babe, tell us the journey. How was the process?
First thing I need to say, for legal reasons, is I'm not an immigration advisor, so nothing I tell you is advice. It's just opinions. I will give you pointers on whether you need an immigration advisor, because I've looked at some forms for people and had a little laugh. So the first thing with the spouse visa into the UK, which is talking into the UK, so this is specifically one partner lives abroad and the other partner lives in the UK, because it's different if the partner lives in the UK on another visa. So the important things are like the legal requirements, and that is that your spouse in the UK must be earning over £29,000 a year, and must have been doing so for the previous 6 months. So you need to be able to prove that. You then need to be able to prove that your partner has enough accommodation for you. So that can be a single room, as long as you're the only people that have access to it, and that can be in a mum's house, a dad's house, an uncle's, a cousin. It doesn't matter. The difficulty comes when it's with a relative, is proving that. It's being able to prove that you've got that accommodation.
Right.
So, what do you want me to say next, dear?
You went through the entire journey, so I really need you to fill me in with what, aside from the accommodation, what else is like expected of someone.
That's basically it. You need to be able to prove you're married. So in a nutshell, that is what you need to get the spouse visa. That's public information. It's on all the websites and everything.
Now, this is information that you can actually go Google and find out some. Now, also, I do remember during the process, the filing of the documentation.
Yeah, but before that, I forgot to mention this. The person in Uganda or in Nigeria or in South Africa has to look at what their requirements are.
Yes.
Do you need an English language test? If so, you need to book that before you apply. And do you need a TB test? You need to book that before you apply. With the UK government's approved people, not just some random doctor.
Yeah, because I remember you did the booking for the English language test for me, and you paid it. Then I showed up.
Yeah, a TB test, I paid it and you showed up. Visa request, I paid it and you showed up. There's a pattern.
Slowly. So in general, he did pay for the TB tests, I went for the TB test. That is in Uganda. Then he also paid for, I actually did the English language first, then followed by the TB tests. And the most beautiful thing was, presenting myself well. I did. Yes. So aside from those two things that were expected of me, he had to do the paperwork. He did the filling of the documentations. That was online application.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the online application. He also WhatsApp calls, backup letters. Siri,
It's Alexa.
Alexa.
Don't say her name or she's going to answer you.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, stop.
Oh Lord.
Life in the UK.
So, what happened was, during the process of the documentation, he had to print out a WhatsApp chat. I don't know what.
Just don't believe at any point.
Yeah.
And I say, I will take you to an immigration advisor.
Yeah.
If you think you can do this form in a day,
Yeah.
you need an immigration advisor.
Yeah.
If you even think that,
If you have the imagination that you can actually do this in a day,
yeah,
because it took us months.
Because you're trying to prove so, and this is where it gets a little bit complex. And this isn't advice. This is just the way that I kind of view it. Is I've been in, so when it comes to proving earnings, I've been in the same job for 7 years, but within the same corporation. It's a government corporation, and my wages are well above, not massively well above, just in case she's listening, but like there's a clear gap between the minimum earnings and what I earn. So for me it was very simple. It was produce the last 6 months' wage slips. Now, the thing I'd done was I gave 7. So they're not asking for your last 6 wage slips, they're asking for wage slips to cover the previous 6 months. And I'm paid 2 weeks in advance, 2 weeks in arrears. So if I sent 6, it wouldn't have covered the previous 6 months. So I need to send 7. I then need to produce the bank statements that my wages went into for the same period, so they could see my wages going in every month for 7 months.
Right.
I then got a letter from my employer saying how long I'd done the job, how long I'd worked there, what my wages were, and that I was a model employee. So that's that side of it. If someone's self-employed or they're having to work 2 jobs to make up that money, because despite the illusion, not everyone in the UK is rich, not everyone is paid loads of money. There are people out there, and some of them will be junior doctors who won't earn enough for that limit. Junior doctors. So you might get people working 2 jobs. Self-employed income counts. You can do it on savings, but when you're talking savings, you're talking enough money to buy 3 houses in Uganda. So let's forget about the savings.
Yeah.
Then you've got the accommodation aspect, which I've lived in the same house since Healy was born.
Yeah.
So 21 years I've lived here. So I've got a tenancy agreement going back to sort of like 2003, 2004. I had my tenancy agreement now, and I've got a house. So I know it's a 3-bedroom house. I just have to prove that there's only me and my daughter there, which I can do from the council tax bill. So again, that side for me was relatively easy. And then what was the other bit I had to prove? Oh, then you have to prove you're married. Okay.
Now that's
the one.
That's the big thing.
So you need a copy of your marriage certificate. Preferably, and this is just my opinion, from URSB rather than the church.
URSB rather than the church.
Yeah, you're better off doing a court wedding, so you've got an official government document, and there's less likely to be dodgy dealings in the background, for want of a better word. But so you need the marriage certificate, but then you also need photos of that wedding. And I'll tell you the photos I provided. I provided one of us holding the certificate with the judge sitting behind us.
Yes.
So straight away, the person who doesn't know anything about you can see you two hold the certificate
In front
with
of
the judge behind you.
Yes.
So that's it. Then I sent a photo with us with the guests, so people could see there's guests at the wedding.
Yes.
And then I sent a photo of us below the URSB sign.
Yeah.
Because what you're trying to prove is, A, I was actually there for the wedding and it wasn't done online,
Yeah.
which people from some countries do. That it was an official wedding at that venue and the details matched the birth certificate. Okay? Then, for the next day when we had the reception, we had a sign saying, "Welcome to Imi and Damon's wedding."
Yeah.
I sent in a picture of that sign.
Right.
Because the people don't know what you look like. The person looking at that doesn't know what you look like. So it's like, yeah, Imi and Damon's wedding, and then pictures of us, making sure my daughter was in it so they could see someone else was there. There was another bun in the current.
Yeah.
Pictures of his parents. So that is like, that in a nutshell is what you're looking at from the marriage side.
Now, this brings me to the side where a lot of interracial couples don't want to like post themselves out there. Now, I will tell you one thing. This posting will save you 1 billion times when there are
We
issues.
think. We don't know.
We think.
We don't know. We
You
think.
get. But chances are it's going to save you a lot more. Now, there are people out there who actually don't want to like post their spouses for reasons best known to them. Even after, like, say for example, on social media, I'm very open about my marriage, and I mean, there is nothing to hide there. I'm always posting on Facebook, on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. Like, my life is out there. But the one thing I got to realize, you know what? There was an interview that we were on as well. You get, if these people come to, try and do background checkup, chances are these pages of yours can help you out.
But what came in handy for us
Yeah.
was also proving the other side that we've been in a relationship, which when you read the documentation, you don't need to do this. But I think it's best to. Is I sent in, because Imi had posted my picture all over the internet, I wanted to show evidence that we've been in a relationship, and for the length of time we've been in a relationship. So I went to Imi's profile and screenshotted posts where there's photos of us together from the day we met. So just one per year. So there were 6 photos in total that showed I was there in 2019 at Kensington Apartments.
Yeah.
I was there a year later. I was there a year later. Because although I've got to show all my visas for every time I go to Uganda, I might not have been meeting Imi. I might have been meeting someone else. So to prove that you're trying to convince someone that knows nothing about you.
Yeah.
So I thought the best way for me to show that these photos were taken on this date was to do it by Facebook.
Yeah.
Because one thing you can't do on Facebook is change the date of a post. Don't know if it helped, don't know if it didn't, but it's worth doing.
Yeah. And you're lucky I did the posting, and my excitement kind of helped me. I remember you saying, "Ah, thank God you made this post."
Yeah, but when you're with a man this good looking, you're bound to post.
Eh?
So yeah, that's the side of where you've got to prove the relationship.
Yeah.
So that is like the visas from all the travels, all of any photos you've got that have got a date on them really help, and I think Facebook's the best way to do that. And receipts for accommodation, showing where you stayed. Now I'll cover that in a minute because we didn't have that because very, very early on we rented a Mazungu manor where I could stay. So yeah, and like crucially, where a lot of people go wrong is I filled in Imi's form for her.
I did nothing.
I declared at the end that I filled that form in for her, but what I had to do was fill that form in as though I was IMI. And I see some forms and people say, oh, can you read this through? And they've answered it, some of it as though they're answering for themselves, and they get confused. And if you can't do that, get an immigration advisor to do it for you. Because you have to be able to remember that I'm answering for someone else. These questions have nothing to do with me until it comes down to the bit where it's about my finances, my accommodation.
But in actual sense, I think it's even way better for the man to actually do the paperwork for the woman, because many oftentimes we tend to like, no, trust me, yeah, whatever you did, I don't think I would honestly handle.
You've got to have a certain way of thinking. Bear in mind, I work in sort of a, not really a legal place, but something where forms that are filled and sent to us require the same level of detail.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with immigration. But you've just got to be aware that you're filling the form, that when your partner does it, he's got to answer as though he's you.
Yeah.
And one form I was sent, the person hadn't managed to do that. So, yeah. And the form itself, you could probably do the form in a day.
But you need to take your time.
But you need to think about every question and answer every question. Not say what you think it is. And above all, be 100% honest.
100%.
Imi was turned down for a
honest.
visitor's visa.
Oh, Lord.
I declared on there that Imi was turned down for a visitor's visa. If I had not told them that, they would have just rejected her because I hadn't been honest on the form.
Yeah.
So you've got to be, just forget any ideas of trying to pull the wool over UKVI's eyes. They will catch you out, and even if you get in the country, it will be a short holiday. Because if they find out you've lied, they'll just revoke the visa. So be 100% honest.
Honesty goes a long way for you. If you've been rejected a visa before, note it down. If you've tried to apply for a visa before and it didn't go through, note it down. If your finances are not that good, like everything just has to be out there.
But they won't ask about that. They won't ask about the Ugandan spouse's finance.
Yeah, it is
And
the man's finances.
This is the anomaly.
Yeah.
Is Imi could be earning $10 million a year in Uganda, and I could be earning next to nothing. We can't use Imi's $10 million. The onus is on the UK partner to earn the money.
Right.
Because I'm meant to support you.
Are you supporting?
Got you some clothes? So yeah, proof of accommodation as well. So if you want to prove accommodation, just to run through that, because I didn't quite run through it. Tenancy agreement if you're a tenant.
Yeah.
Copy of the land registry deeds if you're an owner. If your spouse is living with his mum and dad, a letter from his mum and dad saying that yes, they own the house and they're happy for you to stay there. Same goes with any other relative. Copy of the council tax bill. Then that will show how many people are in the house to a point. And for good luck, put in another copy of another utility bill. I use my water rates bill. You don't need to add it.
Yeah.
But my recommendation is you do. Then if, like us, you've been married but apart for a couple of years.
6 years?
Yeah,
Lord,
I know,
that
but
was crazy
from
long.
URSB to you
Yeah.
coming here was 2 years.
Yeah, the court
Is
was 2 years.
Show
difference.
messages from WhatsApp,
Yeah.
like 1 page a month, each of those times you've been apart to show you can communicating. So if you're one of these couples that only talk 2 or 3 times a month, forget that idea.
Say that again. If you're the couple who talks 2 to 3 times a month, forget it. Your communication needs to be super solid.
Yeah. Now, you're not meant to do this, but I did it, and I think it was the right thing to do. Was I included a copy of our first ever WhatsApp conversation.
I remember that conversation.
So I literally showed that we'd been together 6 years, we'd been married 2, and that we were husband and wife. That's what you're trying to show them.
Yeah.
And with us, it's quite difficult because I'm trying to find pages about swear words in all.
Imagine a couple that are like who are like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
We're like Tom and Jerry. I don't remember any time we have something really, really sensible to talk about.
But yeah, so that's it. In total, there's about 80 pages of documents are uploaded.
80 pages of documents that he uploaded. Wow.
Which took about 2 weeks to get all the paperwork together. It then took about 2 days to sort them all. So when I went on the UKVI website, I knew what went in what category,
Yeah.
and then it took probably 3 to 4 hours uploading everything.
That was crazy. But you did a great job,
I know.
and I really appreciate you for that.
You better.
You are super intelligent. That's the
Yeah.
thing that I'll always be grateful for because imagine my brain on something like that.
Yeah, you cry.
So that is generally the process. There's just so much paperwork. You need to be honest as much as possible when it comes to the UK spouse visa. The other bit is kindly go ahead and read as much as you can. All right, you can have the help of people here and there, but be in the reading culture. Go do your research, read, get a solicitor if you can, or they call it a lawyer. If you can, it's going to save you a lot more. Make sure your documentation is put there 100%. The man's details, like that is the time where I feel a spouse visa is a time where love is surely tested because a lot of finances go in, and someone who is not really in there for you will not be able to stand with you until the very end.
The thing is, as well, is sort of like when you talk about visitors' visas, you get that visa based purely on the opinion
Yeah.
of the immigration officer. With the spouse visa, it's much more factual. Prove you earn this much.
Yeah.
Prove you've got accommodation. There is a bit of
Yeah.
opinion in there, always will be, but it's very much prove this, prove that,
Yeah.
prove you can speak English, prove you've not got tuberculosis. So it's very much on proof.
So that is it basically.
It's not quite it.
How many? What are other things that are left?
Well, the other thing I would say is if you fill in this form and get all your evidence together, and you think, yes, we're definitely going to get it, go and see an immigration advisor.
Yeah.
You should never think you're definitely going to get it. Even after I submitted it, I thought, oh, I could have put this in as well. I could have put that in as well. That there should always be doubts in your mind over it. If your accommodation is a little bit dodgy, and by that I mean, say for instance, your partner rents a room in a house, then I would use an immigration advisor, and you might need a property report. Don't put. I would say, and this is not, again, this is just my opinion, is don't get married on the Thursday and submit your visa request 2 days later. That will ring alarm bells. I think that we
Yeah.
left it 2 years. I think that was a good length of time to leave it. I would definitely say 6 months, because the problem is with scam marriages, the marriage happens and the visa application is submitted the next day. So that can kind of, just things that like ring alarm bells that say, no, this is too fast. Finance wise, your partner or you are going to have to find about $3,500 for the health surcharge and about $2,000 for the visa application, the pounds, sorry. So you're talking about £5,000. Now, what happens when your when your spouse in the UK applies in your name, he has to pay through the Ugandan portal, which is charged in dollars.
Yes.
So the £3,100 surcharge, by the time it comes out of your bank, is 3,400 because of exchange rates. So yeah, it's things like that. But I think if a relationship is genuine,
Yeah.
then you'll get the visa. And bear in mind that the earnings might change any minute. They might suddenly say it's going to be £50,000. We don't know. So yeah, that's it really.
So that is the legal bit of it. But there are things I also did as a person, right?
Yeah.
I was praying. You can't knock this one. You cannot knock
Have
this
you
one.
had,
We are not going to argue here.
Let me just explain this. Have you ever heard of the saying God-given talents?
I know that.
The miracle is you're given a talent.
He's given you. He's given you the brain.
Yeah, God gives you the talent. Your prayer, and the only prayer you ever need, is that you use the talents God has given you with gratitude.
Well, ma, thank you. It's okay. But can I still stress my point?
No.
I did pray. There were stressful days for me. I was at the altar. Okay, so as you are having the brain to process all of this, I'm so blessed that God has brought you as a leader in our home. God has made you the leader.
Remember
yes,
that word.
yes.
Your turn to cook.
He has entrusted. Can you stop talking about cooking? But yes, kindly don't forget to pray if you're a believer and trusting God for something. Yeah. Whatever faith, whatever denomination you are, take your time to seek the face of God for guidance in all that you do, so that the favor of God can also be upon you. Sorry about the background noise. We have Candy in the house. He's a bird. So we are sorry about that noise. Yeah, so other than that, that was the process.
My last point.
Yes.
Don't be like Kimmy.
What did I do?
Impatient all the time. Have you submitted the application yet? Have you done this? I want you to submit the application now. Have you done it yet? 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 It's a very complex process. And if your man isn't as strong as me, he will mess up just because someone's being impatient. Even after we got the visa. Have you booked the flights yet? Have you booked the flights yet? Have you booked the flights yet? I ended up paying about £400 more for flights than I would have done if I'd have waited another month.
I'm here now.
Because no matter how stressful it is for you, sitting there doing nothing, I promise you, if your man cares about you, it is 20 times more stressful for him. Because if that gets rejected and he's filled in that form in, who are you going to blame?
Him. But you did a great job.
And because of my hard work and diligence and patience, we got a decision in 3 weeks.
Yes. Now that's the beauty of the hard work that he did put in. In 3 weeks, a visa was approved, and here we are.
And when I got the visa email, Amy was working on a client, so she didn't see it. And I've seen UK VI decisions, and because it was so quick, my first thought was, I've missed something out.
So, the day I received this visa, I was actually working on a bride, and he called me. Your visa has been approved. Just not the confusion on my head. I'm sending out a bride to, go and I was dressing up the bride, and she was all excited, and I'm like, oh my god. That was the best news. Her wedding was literally a blessing as well to me, because why would I receive great news on her wedding day? Okay.
And what was the first day you was allowed to enter the UK?
That was
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, yes. And here we are. So I hope this helps someone out there, and some of the questions that, some of the highlights that he has given, I hope it helps someone out there who is actually going through a visa process. Do not be ignorant. Do not be in a rush when doing this. Take your time, look at every documentation, read as much as possible. people don't want to read. A lot of people want to hear from other people, yet information is actually out there
Yeah.
on Google. So please read as much as you can. Read as much as you can. Get advice left and right. Yeah, listen from other stories and other processes to gather your information before you can go ahead to apply for a UK spouse visa. So, anything else you have to say?
Bear in mind that once she's here, you can't send her back. It's not like buying something in the shop and you find out it doesn't work. You get the woman in and find out she doesn't cook, doesn't do much other than sit on the phone. You can't.
That's a lie.
You can't send her back and ask for your money back. So just be
That's
aware.
a lie.
What?
It's you who wants to cook all the time.
Only if I wait for you, I'd starve.
Mama.
I don't want to lose weight. That's ridiculous.
Ignore him. This is just one of the other things that we always do here, trolling each other. But other than that, see you next time. We are the Trots, and for people who are in Uganda, we do own a skincare business. We work on skin. So if you also want to, work on your skin, I'm a skincare specialist, and I'm a makeup artist as well. I don't know what the UK has in place for me right now, but I'm looking forward to the best. However, we have a skincare store in Tinder. You can as well reach out to me, and I'll be able to assist you with your skin.
And also, when you get married and you need an Airbnb for your relatives, we have a beautiful Airbnb that is cheaper than most. In Shearer, it is. I'm not just saying it. It was basically built around my needs as a white man.
Yeah.
So there's not many mosquitoes. There's not a lot of crime. It's got mosquito net and all that sort of thing. So if you've got Mzungus coming over us, little sensitive Mzungus, then that is the ideal Airbnb. And just contact Imi, and we will send you the link.
All right. So have yourself a blessed time. See you next time. In our next video, remain blessed.
Should I make a cup of tea now?
Do you want spicy or just
Normal tea, please.
okay?
Thank you. That was worth the £4,000.